Hey guys, welcome to Live with Danielle on Facebook, and I have a special little sous chef. Oh, you did a good job actually, you got it. I have a special sous chef with me today. What are we gonna make?
Zucchini muffins, I guess.
Zucchini muffins, you guessed. So, where did we get this?
You didn't say son.
Son? My son? You want me to say that you're my son? I think we all know that. This is Asher, my son. He's here cooking with me today. And so since last week, since we didn't do a cooking demo because we had exciting news about my new cookbook, celebrations, where I gave you guys a whole look into that. You can go back and watch it if you want. It's still available, but today we're gonna make some stuff because we have all this produce from our garden. We just picked this big guy last night, right?
Yeah.
And so we thought, what should we do with it? Why not make zucchini bread?
Zucchini ever. I don't know if it's the biggest between my cousins.
Oh, yeah, your cousin had a pretty big one. This is actually not the biggest one we've had. We let this one go a couple days too long, but all right, so if you have my first cookbook, Against All Grain, you can follow along with the recipe on 194. Crazy, I wrote this recipe when you were 2. Isn't that crazy how long ago that was? So we have this picture of him eating these muffins. He used to not be very good at eating his vegetables. Now he's really great about it, right?
Yeah, where is it?
Where's that? Oh, it's not in this one. I don't have it. It's on my computer. So I used to try to hide things in his muffins, and so this one has carrots and zucchini. So we're going to make that for you today. But before we start, how about Asher and I say hi to a few people? If you want to tell us where you're from and what your name is, Sydney behind the camera there will read them out, and we can say hi.
Danielle says, gosh, Asher's so cute. Hi from Australia.
Don't let it get to your head.
We have Narissa that says, hi from Tucson.
Hi.
Jennifer.
From Tucson?
Maybe. T-U-C-S-O-N. Tucson, thank you. That's great. Jennifer from Medford.
Hi, Jennifer from Medford. Can you say hi?
I did!
Okay.
Naomi or Noemi from Boston.
Hello.
Amanda from Florida.
Hi, Amanda. Can you say hi to Amanda?
Francine from London, Ontario.
Awesome. Hi, Francine.
Nikki from Houston.
Perfect. Hi, Nikki. All right, guys. We'll get started. So I want to take questions while we do this because I know that there's always questions. I'm going to grab a knife here really quick. So we are going to start. I like to, sorry, it's like really dangerous looking. You're going to help me with this part. I'm just going to cut this into 2 pieces really quick, buddy, and then you can help me put this one through. But I'm doing this away from you so you don't get hurt. Okay, so since we use the food processor for this muffin, I like to just go ahead and shred my vegetables right into the food processor, and then I'll take them out and start the muffins. But it's easier than using a cheese grater. Kids can help as long as you don't touch the sharp part. So I have my food processor fitted with my grater attachment. Pretty much every food processor these days comes with these attachments. So even if you get like a cheapy version on Amazon or at Costco or something like that, it should come with these. And they're super helpful. You can use it for cheese, you can use it for vegetables. We use it all the time. It just makes things a lot easier. So I'm gonna press the on button and Asher's gonna help me feed this through the feeding tube. So buddy, when you do it, remember you wanna put it
on.
Sure, you can press the on button. Okay, so don't put your fingers in there, but go ahead and put it in. Go ahead. You're okay.
Oh, why are you making me noodles?
Well, not noodles. We use this. You want to do this one too? We use the spiralizer for noodles.
So why is it like noodles?
It's kind of like noodles, but it's a lot shorter. Watch, I'll show you when I take this off. See, it's called shredded, it's not noodles. See, our noodles are like how long usually?
Wait.
That long, but this is kind of short. Okay, so that we need about 3/4 cup. So I used a little less than half of that huge zucchini, and I'm kind of just eyeballing it. It's not completely essential that you have the exact amount, although if you use too much, it can make it really soggy, so just be careful with that. And we are gonna give these a little bit of a squeeze when we're done with paper towel. So then we're going to do a carrot, and we want the same amount of carrot, or actually about a half a cup of carrots. I still have to read you're not in the picture, so you can hear me at least. I still have to read my own recipes because I don't have them memorized, especially ones that I wrote like 4 years ago. So can you put these ones in too? You could probably drop those in at the same time if you want. Okay, on. Perfect.
Oh, that one was like spinning on.
I know. The like carrot part. Sometimes with the food processors, things don't always get shredded. So if you have any big pieces like this, pick them out. By the way, Sydney, if there's any questions while we're cooking, feel free to stop us.
Yes, there has been one question. What kind of food processor is that?
Okay, so this is a Magimix. I love it. It's a huge capacity. I think this is a 14 cup, I want to say, maybe even a 16 cup. It's really big. And so I love because it can do huge batches of cookies and muffins and things like that. Yes?
Mama, I have a question.
Okay, you have a question?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Wait.
Thank you for asking me to pause.
How do you get the questions on it?
Oh, how do I get the questions?
Yeah.
So Sydney is reading the comments. So
But how could they get the questions?
they're typing it. They're typing it on their phones. Isn't that cool? It's kind of confusing, huh?
That's really confusing.
Really confusing, I know. You're too young to understand the world of social media, thank goodness. So we'll just leave it at that. They're on their phones and they're asking us questions. So again, this is a Magimix. You can get it online. You can get it at Williams-Sonoma. I've used Cuisinart before. Those are great. My mom has just like a very cheap Black & Decker one. It works fine. Obviously, if you're going to be using it all the time, you might want to spring for a little bit of a higher end one. So I'm just pressing this just a little bit to soak up a little bit of that zucchini. And now we're just going to set that aside right there while we make the rest of the muffins. Okay, so boom shakalaka. So I have dates here, and these are pitted. And I like these small ones. They're the Deglet Nord, which we've talked about on here before, because I think that they're a little bit sweeter. They're not as gritty, and so they're kind of my favorite. Typically when I do, we need this big one. Can you get that one?
Yeah, 1 cup.
1 cup, yep. Well, typically when I do dates in a recipe, I will give you a cup measurement, but I'll also give you a weight measurement because they're going to be different. So 3/4 cup of these guys is obviously going to be a lot different than Medjool. Questions?
Yes, Asher, there's a question for you.
Oh.
What's your favorite veggie?
Oh, what's your favorite right now, do you think? Vegetables, like your greens or carrots are a vegetable. You know, the difference between fruit and veggies, right? What's your favorite right now that you've been snacking on from our garden? How about that?
Well, I forgot.
You forgot?
Yeah.
What are the things that have the little balls inside that you eat?
Oh, yeah, snow peas.
Snow peas. I would say your favorite's probably salad, right?
Yeah.
That's probably your first favorite. And then probably cucumbers and snow peas would be your second, right? Don't you think?
Well, I think
Or broccoli?
is
Or asparagus?
is kind of like salt from like.
Salt is not a veggie. Salt is his favorite. Okay, you want to dump those in? You're funny. There's a video of Asher and I making cookies from about a year ago. And my favorite part of that video, actually my favorite video with him ever, he drops salt on the counter and you hear him kind of go, salt! Like this tone of elation, and then he eats it off the counter. It's his favorite. We have to watch him. Some kids want to eat sugar packets. Asher would eat salt. Huh? Sea salt. Okay, other questions while we get started?
Yeah, Brienne wants to know, is this recipe posted somewhere?
This recipe is not posted somewhere. It's just in my book. I do have a zucchini bread, though, on my blog. So if you don't have the book, you could always use that with your zucchini. Okay, so we have 3/4 cup of dates in here. Pitted dates, about 4.
I thought we were doing zucchini bread.
Well, it is a zucchini bread, but we're adding carrots and we're doing the hidden veggie muffins instead. So we have 4 ounces of dates, 3 eggs. Okay, while we crack those, I'm going to crack these because you tend to get shells, but you can help me, okay? You can ask questions while we're doing this.
Yeah, so do you have any dog treat recipes?
No, I do not. Sorry. My dog eats things that we drop off the ground. And then she just chews on elk antlers usually, so that's what we give her. Sorry, I cook so much as it is. I'm not making anything special for my dog.
And,
So 3 eggs.
where do you get the dates?
Oh, so that bag is actually from Costco. Sometimes they sell them in a container too. They're really easy to find, that particular brand, or that particular type. I know most people are familiar with Medjool, but you really can find those pretty much anywhere. You can use Medjool, by the way. You just need to use the weight measurement, so just do 4 ounces instead.
What is that?
That's a pulse button, so it actually won't work until you put the lid on anyways, but don't press that right now because you don't need it yet. Okay, so
What does the pulse button mean, Mom?
it just makes it go like kind of quickly, and it chops it almost rather than like pureeing it. So then we need to add some applesauce.
Are we gonna do
Another
the pulse?
favorite part that I liked of a video that we did with Asher was we put applesauce in those same cookies, and he doesn't really like applesauce. And I asked him in the video, I'm like, we like applesauce, don't we? Hoping he'd be like, yeah. And he was like, no. So, the truth of children. Okay, so basically the applesauce creates some moisture in the muffins, but it also helps for sweetness. So we use dates and applesauce in this for kids, which is great. So it's no artificial sweeteners.
Yeah, for my little brother.
For your little brother.
Yeah.
Well, actually he could eat this because there's no honey in it, and he's starting to eat some of our baked goods now, huh? So he might like these. We send these to school with you. No, we don't. We used to send them to preschool. We can't send them to your school because they have nuts in them. Do you want to dump this in? Any other questions?
Yeah.
They have nuts in them.
Well, we're going to use almond flour, so I'll talk about that
Have
in a
it?
minute. Yep, you can have it. Hold on, I just want to get this closer for you. You're going to drop it.
Could you use flax seeds in place of the eggs?
Yeah, you could actually, I think, especially because there's applesauce in this one. So if you use the flax egg or a chia egg, which if you're not familiar with what that is, it's like, they call it a slurry. So you're going to mix warm water with ground flax or ground chia, and that's a great egg substitute. I will say that it tends to make things a bit more dense, so you're not going to get as much of a rise or fluffiness. So play around with it a little bit. You may need to add a little bit extra flour, but I think it could work with this. Yes. Okay, you want to press the on button really quick? It's going to get loud. So. Okay, so we process that until it's really smooth. If your dates are particularly hard or really, really dry, that's a good idea. That's exactly what I was going to tell you to do. Scoop it in. Then you might want to soak them in warm water for about 10 to 15 minutes until they soften, and then just drain the water, and that'll help you be able to blend them, especially if you have a older food processor with a little bit of a dull blade. Okay, while he's working on this, you can ask some more questions.
Can you do this in the Vitamix?
Yeah, you can actually. The dough or the batter is loose enough that I think it would work just fine in a blender.
I know what you're doing.
You know what I'm doing?
Yeah, you're just asking questions.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You're
on to me.
Is it 4 ounces by weight for the dates?
Yes, 4 ounces by weight, 3/4 cup if you wanted to measure out if you have the smaller ones. Okay, let's hold this over so we don't waste any of this precious almond flour. Okay, so while we are on almond flour, I've talked about it often, but I want to reiterate that if you ever have trouble with any of my baked goods that use almond flour, typically I hear that things are sinking in the middle, that they're too grainy, that they're too oily. That's typically because of the, you can keep them off, it's okay. All right. It's typically because of the almond flour you're using. My favorite brands, which we'll post links to, you can also find them in the shop section of my website, are Welby and Honeyville. Those are going to be really, really finely ground. They're blanched, so there's no skins. You really want like a powdery consistency. And yeah, that's kind of all I have to say about that. Oh, also, if you'd like these to be nut-free, so talking about schools, which can't believe that we're already going back on August 15th. It's gone so fast. You could substitute in finely ground sunflower seed for this. So if you take raw sunflower seeds, make sure they're not roasted, because that'll give it kind of a different flavor, and you grind them up either in a food processor or a coffee grinder, and then sift it so you don't have any of the kind of bigger pieces in there, then that will work as a 1-to-1 substitute.
Can you use a gelatin egg?
I think you could. I haven't experimented too much with gelatin eggs yet, so I don't know for sure because I haven't tried it, but yeah, I think that would work as well. Okay, so we have 2 cups of almond flour. Can you do 1.5 teaspoons of this baking soda? Yep. So we need.
It's really itty bitty.
Let's do this one, and then I'll give you the half. Okay. Make sure it's really level on top. We don't want too much baking soda, and we don't want not enough. Okay. Go ahead. Any other questions?
Yeah. Do you store your almond flour in the fridge?
I do store some in the fridge. I store some in the freezer, and then I store some at room temperature. So I go through almond flour a lot because we do a lot of testing. So I store usually about like half of this huge jar here. I would say that's like, gosh, I don't even know, maybe 10 cups or so at room temperature. And then I freeze a few pounds, and then I keep a few in the refrigerator. So the freezer will last, I say, up to about a year. The fridge, I would say about 6 months, and at room temperature, probably just about a month or so. Nuts can go rancid, so you do want to be careful with that.
Can you use all-purpose gluten-free flour for this?
So no, it wouldn't be a one-to-one sub because converting with grain-free flours is a lot different than like gluten-free. So you could play around with this. I would suggest probably finding a regular veggie muffin or like a regular zucchini muffin and subbing in your gluten flour for that, because that would be a more even sub. Hey, let's not put our mouth on that because we're going to use that to scoop out our muffins. Okay.
And no, we don't eat gluten.
We don't eat gluten, that's correct. Thanks, buddy. So last but not least, we have some spices. So we like cinnamon. So we're gonna do 3/4 teaspoon. You wanna smell that? Just don't. You can come in. Ryan's peeking through the window at us like, he's like,
I'll let him in.
Checking, you're gonna let him in. Checking to make sure we're doing okay here. All right, and then 1/2 teaspoon, I think he might have been coming to save me in case Asher went rogue. And it's like not behaving. And then we're gonna do, here's the salt, Asher.
Yes!
1/4 teaspoon of salt. You wanna dump that in?
Yeah, I want to eat some.
Duck. There you go. If there's any in the spoon, you can take a little bit of a teaspoon of it, or like a little lick, I mean. Okay, and then, so this is actually not written into the recipe, but I started adding in a tablespoon of raw cocoa powder, or cacao powder, because this little guy here likes chocolate, and when he was younger, cover your ears. When he was younger, I found out that that if I added 1 tablespoon just so that it looked dark, he would think that they were chocolate muffins, and he would eat them more readily.
Oh, I know. You said chocolate muffins. Yay!
Oopsie.
Oh, you said trying to reconnect, but
Oh no. Are we back?
Yeah.
Okay, we lost service there for a second. I don't know what you guys heard, but all right, so hit the on button for me, Bubba. Okay, while that's getting, I'm gonna go get my muffin tins. Okay, don't touch anything. I think it's good. All right, so I think too, since this is summer and it's special, we should add a few of these. What do you think?
Yeah.
I mean, you wouldn't say no to that ever, right? Okay, so the batter's done. It's nice and smooth, and now we're just going to add back in our veggies.
How much should I have too?
How many can you have?
Yeah.
You can have 5. How about?
Could you use donut pans for these?
Oh, yeah, you definitely could. I think, you know, I mean, I think this is a little bit more moist than like some of my donut batters that I have done. I have quite a few donut recipes if you're looking for one. But yeah, I think that would be really nice. Sure, why not?
Amanda says, how are the veggies hidden when the kid is watching?
They're not when the kid is watching, but he's at a better age now where I found we have more success with having him involved than hiding things. When he was little, hiding was the key. But now, like, you know, we make zucchini noodles and he likes to see it go from a zucchini to a noodle. And so when he was younger, I liked to hide things. Now he's better about it and he likes to try new things, and he especially likes to see things made. Yes, I know we're just talking about you like you're not here. What do you mean how many more?
Where are the chocolate chips? How many chocolate chips?
How many have you eaten?
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna put in, let's try a 1/4 cup. How about?
Oh, that's cool.
Any other questions?
Yeah, do you have any tips for baking with kids and how to get them involved?
Yeah, so Asher, we have learned over the years that he loves, why don't you go ahead and pour it, babe? It'll go a little faster, plus then your hands are not touching everything. Okay, so we learned kind of through trial and error. He used to love when he was little, it was so cute, when he was just starting to talk, he would hear the mixer go on, like the KitchenAid stand mixer. I'm just gonna dump those in. He would hear the KitchenAid stand mixer go on, and he would run into the kitchen, and he could barely talk, but he would say, "Cook with Mama," and it was so cute, and it like made my heart melt. And so I realized just that if he sat there with me, and even though it makes for a much messier and quick case of point, and time-consuming process.
Yeah, that'll make it weird.
Yeah, that would make it weird. First of all, you're creating memories, but it teaches them to, you know, learn new ingredients. And he just used to, the first thing I had him start doing was just measuring out spices. There's a curry actually on my blog. And in my first book, and there's a kids section. This is what I'm actually cooking out of right now, a kids section in the first book. But there's a curry that I called a toddler approved curry because Asher used to eat it with me.
Excuse me, Mom?
Yes, honey, thank you for saying excuse me.
What is this for?
That's the baking cups. That's what we're going to put the muffins in. I'll show you. We're going to use those next. All right, so, but anyways, with that curry, I would let him measure out all of the spices, and it would take forever, but he loved doing it, and he was a lot more willing to try things. And so that's kind of my biggest tip.
How much are we going to make?
Similarly, a garden is probably like the best thing that we have done. With kids, he loves going out and doing it every morning. He's tried like a huge handful of new vegetables that I don't think I would have been able to get him to try before, just because he saw them grow, and so he's a lot more interested in them. So it's kind of a, it's just good to get them involved.
Oh, fly!
Yeah, we have a fly infestation currently.
Do you use kosher salt
2
or
flies,
sea salt?
3 flies, 100 flies.
100, yeah. So gross. We use sea salt, and my favorite is Himalayan pink sea salt. It's just kind of my favorite flavor. Yeah, thank you for putting these in here. So if you guys don't already know, these baking cups are the best. They do not stick whatsoever. You're not left with like half the muffin on the bottom and you're trying to like scrape it off. It comes right out. Otherwise, I also like to use, go ahead and keep putting those in while I talk. I also like to use these. They're silicone muffin molds. They come right out, and that's nice to bake with as well. So, especially if you're trying to avoid metals or anything. But I think that if you've got the paper liner in there, then you're okay in terms of the metals. But everybody kind of has their own opinion on that. So,
Asher, there's another question for you.
ooh, can you answer it?
Jill wants to know what your favorite homemade treat is.
Ooh. We had this question as a trivia question, right?
Cool.
Yep, somebody won a book for that, Jill. You should have been here. Asher's favorite are my fudge popsicles, right?
Yeah.
From the blog. So I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag completely, but it's kind of crazy. In the world of cookbooks, I'm already thinking about my next one, even though Celebrations, which I just have to show you guys again because it sits probably on my shelf. This one comes out September. But the next one is already kind of in my brain because I have to start thinking about it and turning my ideas into my publisher. And I have heard so much that people want a kids cookbook, right?
Yeah, and where is it?
Where is it? Well, it's all right here right now. And so I think a kid's kind of family friendly, although I say all of my recipes are family friendly because I do have kids.
Time.
I know we've been talking about the kids cookbook for a really long time. So that being said, if you have any family favorite recipes, kid favorite recipes that you guys are missing that you still haven't found in any of my 3 cookbooks, shout them out and we'll take note of them. And if that is the next cookbook topic, which I can't guarantee because I still have to pass it by my publisher. Yeah, you can do this.
You have to put all of that in too.
I put most of it in. We graded a little bit too much, so I put most of it in. So yeah, if you have any family favorite recipes that you're missing, I'm going to put a little bit more in. Please shout it out, and we'll take note of some of the most frequently requested ones. And then if that topic gets approved, then hopefully I can recreate some of your favorites, and that will be the next book, which won't be for a couple of years, so don't get your hopes up too much. Okay.
What brand are those cupcake liners?
Oh, they are, here buddy, why don't you start doing this, okay? Scoop these out and press the lever over those, okay? They are If You Care. So they're unbleached, chlorine-free, environment-friendly products. That's not an advertisement, it's just I really like them. So actually, one more funny story. So everybody that knows me,
I don't know.
okay, I'll help you, knows that I am absolutely terrible at, not measurements, like spatial reasoning, things like that. And so the first thing that I ever did was I bought a dog bed that was about 5 times too big for my dog because it just looked cool in the picture. And then I frequently buy way too big of things or too many quantity of things on Amazon. So you can keep working on that. So I have about 150 boxes of these. I thought it was 150 liners and I didn't read it and I ordered it too quickly. So I have lots and lots and they've lasted me for many, many years. Oh, okay, that's good. Good job.
So we got another question.
Yes.
Sarah wants to know, besides sunflower seed flour for a nut-free option, do you have any other kinds of flour that you'd recommend?
Yeah, for grain-free and nut-free. So coconut flour would be a good one. This one I have not tested, so I can't say the exact amount, but I would start with about, gosh, it wouldn't take much. I would guess about a half a cup of coconut flour in this recipe, where it calls for 2 cups of almond flour. So you'd have to kind of play with it until it got to this texture, consistency, and you might need to add an extra egg. It's not a full science, so sorry, that's not, I'd have to really test the recipe to really be able to tell you for sure. The other thing that I've played around with a little bit, if you don't have a seed allergy, is sesame seed flour. So that's another option. It's pretty absorbent as well. So I wouldn't say it's a 1-to-1 sub like sunflower is, but you might be able to get away with doing like 3/4 of sesame to 1 cup of almond. So it's a little bit of experimentation, but for the kids book, I am going to be, if I do a kids book, I have to like give my disclaimers so you guys don't get your hopes up just in case I get turned down. But I will play with some more nut-free, grain-free flours with that one because I know that it's really necessary for all the people with food allergies and then also for schools. So I plan to experiment with plantain flour. I've experimented with garbanzo bean flour, which we love for my chicken nuggets, but it's not paleo, it is grain-free. So yeah, those are some options. Any other questions?
Yeah, do you know the size of that scoop?
Oh gosh.
And or the brand.
As I just talked about how my spatial reasoning is bad. When I write cookbooks, I have a tape measure that sits out next to my desk because I never know how big to say to cut things. Anytime I say something, I'm like, oh, cut it in 1/2 inch cubes, and then I actually measure it and it's like 1/4 inch or it's 1.5 inches. I'm so bad at looking at things. So I don't know. I will look after this is over and I will add it to the comments. All right, we are done. So I'm gonna pop these in. We've preheated our oven to 350 and they take about 30 minutes. And then I like to let them cool all the way because it's kind of like with coconut flour. Yeah, you can go if you want. You're done. Say bye.
Bye.
Say thanks for helping.
I can come back again.
You are? Like next time we do this or like in a couple of minutes?
Yeah, when it's done cooking.
Oh, well we won't still be on. People aren't going to sit and watch this for 30 minutes because that's a lot of time. They don't want to hang out with us that long.
But
they have stuff to do.
But we can't show them our muffins.
How about we post a picture? Does that sound good?
Well,
Plus, they can see them all here because they're done. They're cooked and baked here. See? Except for they're going to look a little different because we added chocolate. Okay, thanks for your help. I'll call you when they're done. Okay, any other questions? All right, guys. Well, that's great. So I'm going to put these in 30 minutes. I will come back later and post a picture. And then if there's any questions we missed, which we frequently do because the Facebook Live app is still figuring out how to let us actually see comments and scroll back, and a lot of them disappear. It's kind of strange. But we'll go back through and answer any other ones that we can answer for you. So thanks for joining us. See you later. As always, you can watch these again. If you just go to the video tab on my Facebook page. I also save them, and no, don't put your fingers in there. I also.
But if there are questions still, could you still ask questions, if it's too late?
The questions are done. Oh, if they watch it later, can they ask questions? Yeah. They could. We could go back and answer them. I also put these videos up on my YouTube channel where there's also a ton of other cooking videos, so make sure you head over there if you want to see more. And then join me back here every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Pacific. See you guys later.